And a sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. Now, to kick us off, a section of the clergy now wants the president to prioritize making life affordable for Kenyans this new year. The clergy says the president should listen to Kenyans and work towards making life bearable for Kenyans. The clergy also called for national unity and urged the government to engage the opposition and borrow some of its ideas that may benefit the nation. They also want the political class to analyze the National Dialogue Committee before implementing it.
Because Kenyans brought you into government, into power, just to serve them. My prayer and desire is that you put your interest aside and serve the Kenyans. Serve the Kenyans by prioritizing the needs of common mwananchi. There are many who are vanquishing. There are many who are frustrated. They don't have food, they don't have shelter, they don't have health, and they are frustrated. Before we consider those other things which are also important for our nation, let us consider this common mwananchi who is suffering, who does not have something to put on their table.
President William Ruto has assured Kenyans that the government has put in place robust measures to take the country back to its glorious days, saying Kenya is out of danger and on the path to sustainable economic growth. While delivering his New Year message at State House in Nakuru, the head of state also accused the opposition of derailing and sabotaging the delivery of public programs through petitions in courts.
Countdown to the new year 2024.
Wish each other Happy New Year.
Then song and dance. Followed by fireworks in the sky. At the State House in Nakuru County, President William Ruto led Kenyans in ushering in the new year. In his address to the nation, President Ruto said 2023 was an extraordinary year marked by difficulties and sacrifices. The president stated that the bold, decisive and the painful choices made were necessary for long-term gain.
The choices we've made over the last year were neither easy, populist, nor convenient. They were, however, meaningful, appropriate, and necessary. In the short term, painful, but in the long term, gainful.
He said inflation had eased to 6.8%, while the economy was growing fast.
Inflation has reduced to 6.8%, and our GDP is growing at a rate of 5.4%, placing Kenya as the 29th fastest growing economy in the world.
The president also explained that the country was safe in regards to foreign debt and that the government has cut expenditure by up to 400 billion Kenyan shillings to further reduce borrowing.
2023 is the year we decided to stop wastage and extravagance, instead opting to live within our means. We decided to enhance our tax revenues by Kenya shillings 600 billion to fund our programs and development so as to safeguard our sovereignty and independence.
The head of state also assured Kenyans that the government would deliver the bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
For the first time, my Mama Mboga and Boda Boda friends will now have a chance to own a home in our Kenya shillings 4,000 a month, 3% interest rate tenant purchase scheme. That will be the case for other Kenyans.
He also threw a jab at the opposition, saying they were jeopardizing the government agenda and public programs through the cuts.
You will agree with me that there is something fundamentally wrong with opposition without any viable alternative, whose only purpose is division, conflict, and anarchy. There is something wrong with litigation sponsored by hostage-taking vested interests with the sole aim to delay, derail, and sabotage the delivery of public programs and defeat public interest.
The president was in company of First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, his spouse Dorcas Rigathi, Governor Susan Kehika, cabinet secretaries, and members of parliament, among other leaders. Giverson Minor, Lunchtime News.
In other news, members of the clergy are calling upon the government to institute deliberate measures aimed at curbing rampant corruption and economic difficulties in the country. The preachers who led Christians in New Year's crossover services in various churches across the country also called for more proactive efforts to reduce the cost of living in the new year. Here is Joseph Wahungu with more on how Christians ushered the new year.
As billions of people globally marked the new year in style, Kenyans were not left behind, with thousands filling places of worship across the country. And when the clock struck midnight, praises and dances rented the air, with the faithful at Stewart's Revival Pentecostal Church along Outer Ring Road in Nairobi, ushering the new year in a joyous celebration. Delivering his New Year sermon at the church, Bishop Samuel Njiriri urged the government to prioritize the plight of Kenyans suffering due to corruption, high cost of living, and economic hardship.
Tunafanya kazi na serikali kuwashauri na kuwaombea watembee na njia ya uungu na njia ya kumcha Mungu. Ufisadi nchi hii hatutaki. Tunataka uongozi ambao mali yetu italindwa vizuri na Wakenya watafurahia. So the high cost of living, tukitembea na speed ya Mungu, basi unakuta hata uchumi unaanguka. Sindio?
Amen.
In the Utawala area, Bishop Charles Chuma of the Way Christian Ministries asked church leaders to refrain from indoctrination of their members.
My take this night, my advice to my fellow pastors and spiritual leaders is that let us be straightforward to our congregants. I know it was a shame when we heard about the Mackenzie in Shakahola. It has been a hard time for us.
While in Deliverance Church Theta, Juja, Christians prayed for 2024 to be a year of blessing, as Reverend Stanley Ngure condemned the LGBTQ issue.
Vijana wetu kuna mitego nyingi wanapata wamewekea. Kuna mitego ya pombe, kuna mitego ya madawa ya kulevya. Watu wa jinsia moja kuweza kuhusiana kimapenzi ni mambo ambayo Biblia imekataa.
Still in Kiambu County, Kambiu Presbytery moderator Reverend Joseph Kamau led Christians at PCEA Gakoi Church in Githunguri in urging the government to tame violent crimes in the region, where several people have lost their lives and property worth millions of shillings stolen by unknown people.
Tumekuwa na burial on Wednesday na mtu ambaye tulimzika, yeye aliweza kuvamiwa kwake asubuhi anapokwenda kukamua asubuhi. Maisha ya mwanadamu yanapopotea vivi hivi, tuna jukumu pia la kuambia serikali yetu ya kwamba tunahitaji kuona kazi ikifanyika, tuwe katika usalama.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Joseph Wahungu.
Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelenko has pledged better service delivery for residents of Kajiado County in 2024. In his New Year message, Lenko reiterated his administration's commitment to rolling out development projects that will focus on modulated pastoralism as one facet towards climate change mitigation. Lenko also said his administration will sensitize locals on diversifying into crop farming. Garbage collection for those living in urban areas will also be addressed.
Na kuhakikishieni kwamba kama serikali yenu ya kaunti na kama gavana wenu, mwaka huu utakuwa mwaka wa kazi. We are all going to work. Tumekuwa na wakati wa kupanga mikakati. Tumepanga ono letu ya kubadilisha kaunti ya Kajiado kwa njia mwafaka, tukilenga ufugaji wa kisasa, kutunza mazingira yetu na kuboresha hali ya towns zetu ambazo tunajua ndio mwelekeo ujao, na pia tukizingatia kwamba umuhimu wa elimu ndio itakuwa uti wa mgongo wa jamii hii kwa miaka zijazo.
Still on ushering in the new year, entertainment sports in Nairobi we are full on New Year's Eve as revelers flocked in to usher in the year 2024 in style. It was good business for proprietors who revealed that the year 2023 has been tough owing to the harsh economic times occasioned by the high cost of living. They exuded confidence that 2024 will bring forth good tidings. Our reporter Timothy Kipnoso visited a number of the joints and filed the following report.
It was pomp and color in different entertainment joints in the capital as revelers flocked in to usher New Year in style. Bar owners made a boom after receiving a huge number of customers. KBC Channel 1 visited Kentwood Address Bar and Restaurant in Kiambu Road to get a glimpse of how Kenyans ushered in the new year.
Year has been challenging, ups and downs, of course. The economy has not been where we want it to be, but we're hopeful. We thank all the players for all the support they've given us throughout.
They, however, urged both the county and national government to provide a conducive environment for them so that their business can thrive.
Let's create a very friendly business environment. Let's make it easier for new businesses to gain licenses. Let's make it a very smooth transition.
They revealed that they are disenfranchised by the new policies that have been introduced by the county government, making it difficult for them to carry out their businesses.
Biashara yetu kwa wakati huu mambo inaifanya iwe ngumu sana na sheria. Wameleta sheria mingi ambazo kwa sahi ndizo zinaua biashara kabisa. Wangetupunguzia hizo ada kidogo kwa license, kwa nini sheria walegeze kidogo juu pia sisi ni watu na tunajaribu kung'ang'ana kujitafutia.
In the meantime, they called on Kenyans, especially the youth, to desist from pointing an accusing finger at the government over the unemployment and high cost of living, but instead be innovative and creative in coming up with strategies to enable them to earn a living.
It's about time you stepped away from the complaining and do something for yourself. You know, if you keep complaining and just follow suit, then you end up with the rest. But that one person who steps out of it and does something for himself will be better than, you know, the crowd.
Mwaka uliopita ulikuwa mgumu kidogo, lakini tumeupita.
Kama gava inaweza lower the cost of living, hiyo tu ndio kilio ya mwananchi. Hiyo ndio kilio wa Wanjiku.
Elsewhere, hundreds of revelers thronged Greensport Gardens along the eastern bypass in Ruto to usher in the new year 2024. The revelers ushered the new year in style with dance and merrymaking. Greensport Gardens manager Samuel Mwenda revealed that business was not forthcoming last year, but things are looking up this year.
Umekuwa mwaka ambao umekuwa na mambo mingi sana, challenge zimekuwa nyingi za hapa na pale. Upande economy imekuwa chini sana na mambo haijakuwa vizuri kama vile tumekuwa tukitarajia. Ukikompea mwaka huu na mwaka jana turnover ya watu ilikuwa juu ukifananisha na mwaka huu.
Ni customer wakuli vile wamekula hiyo miaka ingine. Hawaja kula nyama vile wanakulaga nyama. Hii mwaka kazi ni kama iko chini kidogo.
Entertainment joints were full to capacity on the eve of New Year, despite the harsh economic times occasioned by the high cost of living, with Kenyans ushering in New Year in style. Timothy Kipnusu for Lunchtime News, Nairobi.
Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza survived impeachment twice. In 2023, same luck befell Siaya Deputy Governor William Odol, who was the first ever Deputy Governor to face the Senate over impeachment charges. For the 2 times lucky independent governor, the senator in unison saved Kawira Mwangaza. Politics, however, took center stage in Odol's case, with the majority of senators, mainly from Kenya Kwanza, having their way throwing out impeachment charges leveled against Siaya Deputy Governor. Gladys Mungai reports.
Was he formally appointed by the board, County Public Service Board, in order for him to act as a director of external linkages? Was he?
He was an
yes or no?
He was an employee of county government.
Was he appointed formally?
For the second time in a year, Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza found herself before the Senate, seeking to have the House drop her impeachment. For days, senators listened as the governor, MCAs as well as councils made their case for or against the impeachment.
The governor herself said to the deputy governor, "You will defecate of avocado seeds, Mr. Speaker. So which insult is better than the other, Mr. Speaker? We cannot hide, Mr. Speaker. We must lift the veil. For Meru to move forward, we must stand with the MCAs and give them the confidence to ensure oversight, Mr. Speaker."
Tumepata fursa ya kujua matatizo ya Meru. Na fursa hii ni fursa ambayo iko katika kaunti zetu zote ambazo tuko nazo katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Na isiwe kwamba wakitoka hapa mmoja amesema mimi nimeshinda. La, watakokuwa wameshinda ni watu wa Meru.
I was elected as an independent governor. I know I need MCS. I've tried my best and I shall still continue trying my best.
In the end, the House unanimously dropped the impeachment charges against the governor, as none of the charges were substantiated.
Section 33(8) of the County Governments Act and Standing Order 87 of the Senate Standing Orders, the Senate has failed to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. And the Governor accordingly continues to hold office.
Senators particularly faulted members of the County Assembly for impeaching Meru County boss over the same charges in less than 6 months after the first impeachment.
I wish a tribunal can be set up. A tribunal can be able to sit with the MCs, with the governor, with the leaders of that particular county so that they can be heard by that tribunal. But when any governor is impeached and brought to the Senate immediately and directly, members of that particular county loses that opportunity to prosecute the issues, Honorable Speaker.
Siaya Deputy Governor William Odol also survived an impeachment after 27 out of 43 senators voted to keep him in office. The House was divided along party lines, with the majority mainly from Kenya Kwanza having their day in what saved William Odol.
The Senate should not be used as a conveyor belt of listening to rumors and hot air allegations.
Ni jambo la kusikitisha ikiwa sisi kama seneta tutakubaliana ya kwamba ni haki mtu kununua kiti kama kile, hali bei yake haifiki ile bei inotakana, na alafu wamechukua pesa zingine zimeenda hivyo hivyo bila zimeenda kiholela.
Afisa mhasibu mkuu katika ukaguzi la county ni gavana mwenyewe. Masuala ya kiti ambayo inasemekana kwamba Bwana Odol aninunua, hiyo ni swala linafaa kuulizwa gavana wa Siaya, lakini sio naibu wake.
Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi and Nyamira County's Amos Nyaribo also dodged impeachment threats. Amid several impeachment motions against county bosses, the Council of Governors raised concerns over what it termed as unfair impeachment laws, targeting the head of devolved units. The Council of Governors also called upon Parliament to expedite the enactment of the Impeachment Procedures Bill to set a strong threshold to impeach a governor. The governors, led by their chairperson, Anne Waiguru, say the initiative will protect devolution from political witch hunt and enhance development in the counties. For Spotlight 2023, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Well, that report by Gladys Mungai brings us to a fast break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up.
How are you, Kenyans? My name is John Jacob Curiet. I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I bring you the 9 p.m. news on Wednesdays and Sundays. I also serve in the police quarters. I want to wish you the very best. Be careful on the roads. Make merry but careful. God bless.
Akona ka forehead. Akona the mark of quality.
Nataka kumaliza mambo hiyo wedding.
Kwanza kiongea kitu kia Patrick sana. Rosi Paul. Umenimaliza kama chai kwa kikombe. Hizi zote zimebaki December, September, October.
Wanaona, I know my life wala. Ni kama tu nikuje nikwambie uko na kichwa kubwa. Sasa makosa si
au sio? Ndio manake. Okay.
Every Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
In a world filled with uncertainty, there is one thing we can always count on: the power of compassion and generosity. Every day, families in Kenya face unimaginable challenges and hardships. They struggle to put food on the table, provide shelter for their loved ones, and access basic health care. But today, you have the power to make a difference. By just contributing 1 shilling and 50 cents from your airtime, your generosity can provide access to sanitary pads, nutritious food, clean water, education, and life-saving medical care to those who need it most. To support this cause, please tune in to your favorite radio station under the KBC umbrella for step-by-step instructions on how to subscribe. KBC Helping Hands. Together, we can make a difference and bring hope to those in need.
Welcome back. This is Lunchtime News. In a heartwarming initiative to kickstart the new year, over 500 elderly and persons living with disability in Theta Ward, Juja, Kiambu County were treated to a special luncheon and generous food donations. Let's have a look.
The new year brought joy and relief for those facing hunger in Juja, as a compassionate well-wisher organized a luncheon followed by a generous donation of food rations. Joseph Njogu Kinuthia, the mastermind behind this initiative, aimed to spread love and care to the less fortunate.
Uzito ambao tuko nao katika nchi, watu wako na shida ambapo wanasikia kwa pale wanapewa unga, wanakimbia zaidi na kuweza kuja, lakini Mungu amenisaidia, nimeweza kadiri ya uwezo wangu na nimeweza kuwapa.
The timely food donations come as many Kenyans grapple with the harsh economic situation. The elderly and differently abled persons spoke about the challenges they faced in 2023 due to soaring prices for basic commodities, leading to a one-time meal struggle each day.
Tujai hata karibishwa hata siku moja hivi, hata kidogo kukaribishwa sikukuu. Tulikuwa tumepoteza imani, tunakosa hata mahali tunaweza pata kitu tu kidogo tunaweza onja.
Lakini Mungu, kama uko na uzima wa moyo na hata uko na moyo mzuri, wewe shukuru Mungu na ukule hiyo ugali, na hata kama una ule atakupea, hata kama ni kauga kakombe kamoja ukule na utosereke.
Despite the hardships, the beneficiaries expressed optimism about improved economic conditions, citing predicted stability, reduced international pressures, and lower fuel prices.
Tunafurahia Mungu huyo sana, sababu tunajua huyu mwaka tunakuja 2024 tutaona mkono wa Bwana, na ndio tunaomba Mungu atutembelee na ndio atufanyie mambo kubwa.
Wale walio wamepewa na Mungu uwezo wa kuwa na kitu, wa kuwa na utajiri, ni vizuri wawe na ukarimu wa kukumbuka wazee, watu wa aina mbalimbali, wale walio na shida wawakumbuke, na ili Mungu naye aongezee.
Joan Junge for Lunchtime News.
The world ushered in the new year with enthusiasm and hope that 2024 will bring with it peace, prosperity and happiness as the world overwrapped 2023, a year which was defined by wars and climate crisis. And as the clock struck midnight, fireworks lit up the skies in major cities across the world. In Nairobi, however, there was panic among revelers in Nairobi's Upper Hill district as flames engulfed the Old Mutual Tower shortly after a celebratory fireworks display to usher in the new year. Here's that report.
Citizens across the globe converged in various streets and major cities to usher in the new year. In Nairobi, it was a long night after the Old Mutual building top floor caught fire immediately after the fireworks display. The fire was, however, quickly contained. In Sydney, a spectacular show to usher in the new year was displayed at the bridges and tall buildings. In Dubai, a spectacular fireworks display featured in the iconic Burj Khalifa. In Auckland, New Zealand, the streets were packed as they ushered in the new year with fireworks. In Dallas, a drone show carried the day as they ushered the new year with a bang after displaying a drone show. While the world struggled with many challenges in the year past, there is hope that 2024 will bring in new tidings. Happy New Year 2024. Kasi Chanamarsha, Lunchtime News.
Felix Tshisekedi has been declared the winner of the Democratic Republic of Congo's election. Tshisekedi garnered about 73% of the votes against Moise Katumbi, who came in second, having managed 18% of the votes. However, the opposition in the country is calling for a rerun, terming the elections a sham. ODM leader Raila Odinga is among the leaders who have conveyed their congratulatory messages.
11 days after the Democratic Republic of Congo went to the ballot, 60-year-old Felix Tshisekedi was declared winner. He won about 73% of the votes, with his nearest challenger Moise Katumbi garnering 18% of the votes. The 20th December election was marred by widespread logistical problems and had to be extended to a second day in some parts of the vast country. Several of the main challengers have, however, called for protests after the results were announced, terming the election a sham. The army has been deployed in various parts of the capital, Kinshasa, to prevent any unrest, while Tshisekedi's supporters took to the streets to celebrate. Opposition leader Raila Odinga has conveyed his message of congratulations to Felix Tshisekedi on his re-election. Odinga wished Tshisekedi the very best as he continued with the crucial mission of steering the DRC back on course. Raila added that he wishes that the leadership brings about positive change and prosperity for the nation, as well as in their determination to reclaim, steady and steer their country. Tanzania President Samia Suluhu has also congratulated Tshisekedi. Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
The year 2023 will go down memory lane as the year when the government of Kenya made huge strides in the fight against banditry and cattle rustling that has been a thorn in the flesh for decades now. On February 23, 2023, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki declared through a Kenya Gazette notice 6 counties in the North Rift as disturbed and dangerous, leading to the launch of Operation Maliza Uhalifu to deal with the insecurity menace in those counties, namely Turkana, West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet, Baringo, Laikipia and Samburu.
February 23rd, 2023 marked the beginning of a new chapter in the history of Kenya, when the government went gun-blazing in waging a serious and massive war on banditry attacks. The government termed the security situation in the Northern Rift Valley region as a national emergency after the death toll as a result of banditry increased.
The kind of security operations that most of our officers do in countering the threat of terror, in countering dangerous criminals like armed bandits who have terrorized many people in our country. We must not confuse those operations with misuse of firearms by 1%, a very small minority of our officers who are tainting the image of the National Police Service.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki noted that during the last 6 months, over 100 civilians and 16 police officers had been brutally murdered, forcing his ministry to take painfully decisive measures to deal with the situation.
Tutafanya vyovyote vile kuangamiza hii mambo ya wizi wa ng'ombe. We will defeat them.
6 counties in the North Rift were termed as disturbed and dangerous, which led to the launch of Operation Maliza Uhalifu to deal with the insecurity menace in those counties, namely Turkana, West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet, Baringo, Laikipia and Samburu. Security experts have lauded the government for how it has managed to deal with the menace. They say the regions are currently peaceful and relatively calm, even as they urge the government to improve its intelligence in dealing with bandits who have proven to employ new tactics while carrying out their attacks.
The bandits seems to be one step ahead of our own security. But we cannot be able to blame the government. The government has tried everything it could do because it has just come in, and the good thing is that they have put mechanism in place. They have already quelled and stopped very many activities that would have happened. So we can give them a good rating. The government may not be able to eliminate this completely because it's not just a click of a button and they are over. It is a question of employing and deploying more intelligence in the area, more equipment, detective equipment that can be able to detect a place where we have got like arms, guns or such.
They noted that incidences of banditry have significantly reduced since the launch of Operation Maliza Uhalifu.
From history, these people may not be made. It could be just a small team of people. A small team, but they could be chaotic. So if they are dealt with, it is possible for us to have these guys finished. We have had groups who have operated this country before, who try to make themselves like a force. What did the government do? And I'm not going to mention any groups. We have got groups which have been in different parts of the country, and they came up and they were like forces, dreadful groups. But the government went step by step with proper intelligence, and they were able to bring them down.
And now in the political arena, Kitui Senator Enoch Wambiru has rallied behind Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka to fly the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition flag in the 2027 political battle with President William Ruto. Senator Wambiru, who is also the national treasurer for Azimio coalition, insists it's time for his coalition party leader Raila Odinga to return the hand to Kalonzo Musyoka. Meanwhile, a section of Kikuyu Council of Elders from Kiambu County have opposed what they term as profiling of Kikuyu youth as mungeke by some politicians.
Speaking in Mombasa, the national treasurer for the Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party, Senator Enoch Wambiru, asserted Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka was the most suitable candidate to fly Azimio's presidential ticket in 2027.
That His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is the right leader to take over and fix the mess deliberately created by the failed Kenya Kwanza administration and save this country.
Meanwhile, Kakamega Governor Fernandez Barasa, who is also the chairperson Finance Committee at the Council of Governors, has implored on county governments to hasten the ongoing vetting of pending bills and pay the suppliers.
The pending bills as at 30th of September this year amounts to almost 165 billion Kenya shillings. So my call on all our contractors to be patient so that the counties which are yet to do verification, they do verification with the bills.
Elsewhere, East African Legislative Assembly member David Olesankok and Gatondo South MP Gabriel Kagombe have dismissed threats by opposition leader Raila Odinga of reviving the anti-government demos next year, terming the move as economic sabotage.
Wezi rekebisha the decrease in the value of Kenyan shillings kwa maandamano. Hiyo ni kufanya sure that you devalue the Kenyan shilling.
Mwaka huu tulioko tunafunga sasa usiku wa leo, mlifanya maandamano, mkaharibu mali ya wananchi na mali ya umma, na hakuna jawabu lolote lilitoka katika hayo maandamano.
And a section of Kikuyu Council of Elders from Kiambu County has condemned and accused the county commander of police in Murang'a and Nyeri counties for indefinite closure of their annual prayers day that was supposed to take place in all counties in Mount Kenya region but never happened in the two counties.
Kwa nini maombi ya Kikuyu ikataliwe? Ni maombi gani gapi inafanyika? Ni kanisa gani tumesikia yeye imeelezwa ati hakuna maombi? Ati ile kitu kwa sababu tunaomba kiutamaduni. Ati sisi tunafinywa, sijui kwa nini kitu gani waliangalia. We need an answer.
Tumeomba kama miaka 20. Tumeomba kama miaka 20. Na hatujaona mtu hata mmoja amekuja kutuingilia. Na sisi huomba Mungu ambaye ni Mungu wa Kikuyu na Mombi, na ni Mungu aliyeumba dunia, na ni Mungu kama yule anatukuzwa pahali pengine popote.
The elders spoke after holding annual Kikuyu traditional prayers in Kiambu County.
Well, now in the sports arena, world cross-country champion Beatrice Chebet broke the women's world 5-kilometer record at the Costa del Nasos road race in Barcelona, Spain. The 23-year-old crossed the line in 14 minutes 13 seconds, lowering Ethiopian Senbere Teferi's women's only record by 18 seconds. Chebet also finished 6 seconds faster than the women's world record in a mixed race set by Ethiopia's Tai at the 2021 Costa del Nasos. Tai was second in the race ahead of Kenya's Lilian Lengaruk, who finished third. The win completed a successful year for Chebet, who won the World Cross-Country title in Paris in February before claiming the inaugural World 5-kilometer title in Riga, Latvia in October. She also won bronze in the 5,000 meters at the World Championship in Budapest in August.
Going to be gold for Chebet in this inaugural edition of the World Championship 5K on the road. And look at the clock too. It is indeed super.
Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you so much for choosing Lunchtime News here on Channel 1. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Sign language interpreter is Byron Apuli. Once again, Happy New Year.